Hi there, welcome back to Persona 5. If you're watching in the future in the playlist, this doesn't mean anything to you, but everyone keeping up with the playthrough, it's been about a month and a half since I last posted a P5 video until now. I'm back in it.
Please consider what I have to say.
So, I apologize, not just for the delay, but if I'm a little out of sorts from where we were and what we were doing, but tonight we're hanging out with our new little acquaintance, Yoshida, the politician that gives speeches here at the center of Shibuya. And I'll also talk a little bit about what's been going on in my life in games and some things with the channel and whatnot, because those of course pertain to this playthrough. The apathy that permeates society is a direct result of negligence by our government and the media. We could make use of his negotiation skills. He is a very good public speaker. That's a good idea, Morgana. Perhaps we should ask him to teach us. I want to do what you do. Now, we have helped him out once before, which is a requirement before establishing his confidant. Let's jump into it.
And while our society appears to be prosperous, many of our young people are quietly suffering. They lack jobs, security, savings. The next generation will lead us into the future, and yet they have no plan for how to arrive there.
Watch where you're going, you little shit.
You bumped into me, you old goat.
This isn't good.
Let's mediate.
Yes, let's. Good citizens, please stop fighting. What is the point of bickering over such a trivial matter?
This is none of your business.
Yeah, seriously, just shut up.
What's with this guy?
Now, if you'll please excuse me, I must return to my speech. Together, we can create a bright future for the next generation.
Ugh. God, so righteous. That really annoys me. Enough of your arrogance, no good, Tora.
What?
As if anyone would actually vote for you. Are you planning to embezzle funds again? Or maybe criticize one of your constituents again? You criminal!
No, that was all in the past. I've gone and done it again.
You're a criminal? You can never run away from your past in politics.
There are many who would agree with that statement. Whenever someone calls me no good Tora, I panic. I went through quite an ordeal 20 years ago. Let me explain. I used to be a member of the National Diet. I was elected during the rise of the Kuramoto children. We were backed by powerful Diet members. This was about 20 years ago. I was very inexperienced back then, both as a politician as well as a human being. That inexperience led me to be involved in a series of major political scandals. People refer to my blunders as no good Tora's 3 strikes. The first was being caught missing a legislative meeting to take a personal vacation. Then, I was accused of embezzling a large sum of money from the party, giving me 2 strikes. Finally, I called a voter an idiot at an open forum, which resulted in scandal and strike 3. I was out and branded a washed-up politician. You said you wanted to become a member of the Diet. But do you see the man before you?
A questionable background accused of embezzlement. However, he has conviction and wants to change the world. Public speaking skills could be useful to the Phantom Thieves, so I'll make a deal with him.
Do you really want to receive my guidance?
Your speeches sound great.
I'm happy to hear that. However, everyone says I have no chance to get elected. So why come to me?
I like your technique.
You mean giving speeches? I'm afraid I'm not so great that you'd be able to learn anything. The most important part about giving a good speech is believing in yourself. Perhaps one day I will believe in myself again. But you sure got me there. You're a strange young man. Very well. If learning how to give a great speech is what you seek, then I'd be happy to instruct you. In exchange, I would like for you to continue assisting me. Let's get started, shall we?
I've made a deal with Yoshida.
Staging your crimes with calling cards. It's hard to believe that a student could manage this alone. An adult. For example, someone talented enough to move people with words. Perhaps they coached you. Isn't that right?
I am thou. Thou art I. Thou hast acquired a new vow. It shall become the wings of rebellion that breaketh thy chains of captivity. With the birth of the sun persona, I have obtained the winds of blessing that shall lead to freedom and new power.
The Sun Confidant, man of the people.
All right.
A very interesting confidant, one with
Let's pursue
special
your
rules
dream of
applied to it.
becoming a member of the Diet. Oh my, we've been talking for far too long. Let's call it quits for today. Well then, I shall see you again soon.
Before I get into the confidant, I'm actually going to read the Wikipedia introduction to Japan's national diet, a part of their government that, to be quite honest, I didn't know about before I played this game. I don't know too much about Japanese politics. Even after playing this game, I don't really know too much. We do have exams, so I guess I'll do those first. Oh yeah, and it's gonna be, what, 3 days straight of that? So, because I know this is a bit of a big paragraph, so I'll read about the national diet in a minute or two, after we knock these few answers out of the way. Then again, there's going to be a cutscene
Well, shall we begin?
at the end of all that, so maybe I'll tackle it the next time I hang out with him. Although the line connects to A to C, it looks like it leads to B instead. What is this phenomenon called? This would be an optical illusion.
Ooh, we can do this!
One of my favorite Morgana lines. Essay question. What is the reason why people will see the same thing differently? If how they're seeing things is different, it probably has to do with this kind of information. That would be visual information. How you see something is visual. What takes the visual information from your eyes and processes it is well, of course, it's the brain. The brain processes visual information, so the reason why people see things differently is they have different cognitions. How the brain interprets the same visual data, how one perceives the world, differs from person to person.
Yep.
Very relevant. I like how many of the questions in P5 are relevant to the things you're tackling in the game. Just take a look at my schedule here, so I have an idea of when I'm going to hang out with Yoshida next. It's ways off. It's 10 days away, so I'll try to fit in that little diet info before then.
Let's get started.
Which of the following expressions came from the name of the position that Minamoto no Yoshitsune held? I'm trying to go off memory, but obviously I have the guide open. So, Magistrate's Patronage.
Ooh, we can do this!
What is the origin of the English word talent? The name of a sum of currency.
Ooh, we can do this!
Of course, I can't afford to get any of the questions wrong because of the schedule. But I am scanning my memory to see if it's correct before checking the guide at least. So I don't feel like too big of a cheater.
Okay, class, let's get started.
What did the Greek philosopher Socrates say that evil is born from? I believe that's ignorance. Yes.
Ooh, we can do this!
What's the least number of colors needed to paint Japan so no two adjacent areas are the same color? 4.
Ooh, we can do
That was
this!
one of the class questions, like most of them are, obviously. But that's one of the ones that, to this day, is still incredibly confusing every time I see that diagram. Now, here's an important day. Time for some of that A1 animation to kick in the near future. Is it A1 or am I mixing up with Studio IG? Crap. Luckily, I record these on my desktop, so I can check immediately. I know that feeling, which is true. My intelligence is not very high yet.
What was that?
Huh?
Not exactly. And it is a Studio IG production.
Oh my god! That guy got off! Isn't this bad? Hey, at least act like you care.
Fine. Come on.
Huh?
Hey, are you sure it's him, or are you just that self-conscious?
Not that!
Is there something you want?
That's my line! You are the one stalking me!
Stalking you? That's outrageous.
I know you've been following me, ever since the train!
That's because...
My goodness. I had wondered why you left the car, so this is where your passion led. All is well that ends well.
I saw you from the car. and I couldn't help myself from chasing after you. I didn't even notice the calls from Sensei, but thank goodness I caught up to you.
Okay.
What?
You're the woman I've been searching for all this time. Please, won't you
Wait a minute,
be the model for my next art piece?
Model?
All that I've drawn till now has been lacking, but I feel a passion from you unlike anyone else.
This man's highly suspicious.
Ain't this a recruit for some shady business?
Will you cooperate with me? What do you say?
Hold your horses. Who are you anyways?
Oh, where are my manners? I'm a second year at Kosei High's Fine Arts Division. My name is Yusuke Kitagawa. I'm Madarame Sensei's pupil, and I am being allowed residence at his place. I'm striving to become an artist.
Huh? Do you mean that Madarame? The one who was on Good Morning Japan the other day?
The very same.
You know who that is?
He was introduced as a super famous Japanese-style artist who's been recognized all over the world. But we heard that name the other day in Mementos.
Yusuke!
I'm sorry, Sensei. I'll be right there.
That old guy's Madarame?
Madarame Sensei's exhibition will begin at the department store near the station tomorrow. I'll be there to help out on opening day. Please come by. It'd be great if you could give me your answer in regard to being a model then. I bet you have no interest in the fine arts, but I'll give you tickets too. Well then, I hope to see you there tomorrow.
That guy's as easy to read as a book. You're not planning on going, are ya?
I think I will. Crap, look at the time. I'll see you later.
How dare he go after Lady Ann? I've memorized that face of yours, Yusuke.
You became acquainted with Madarame's pupil by chance? That's a little too convenient. It makes me wonder if you're even telling the truth. So be it. What I want to know most is your method. It's true that Madarame was an unforgivable criminal worthy of the scorn thrown at him. He was an adult who cultivated his own fame and fortune by sacrificing the livelihood of children. But how did you discover such horrible deeds that were hidden all these years in such a short time? This metaverse business again? Fine. Let's suppose that people's hearts can be changed by stealing their treasure, like you've said. If so, a different suspicion arises. People have gone mad or lost consciousness, never to recover, like the subway accident in April. Depending on how you look at it, that could be taken as a phenomenon for a sudden change of heart too. Were you related to those as well? I see. Fine. Continue telling me about Madarame's case. Keep it concise and only of the truth.
The last day of exams. We're taking a lot of time. That's Morgana's way of saying my intelligence is not high enough. Even though I did get all the questions I had to manually answer correct, it will not result in a good enough score to reward me anything.
It's over.
It's over. How about you?
It's over.
Come on, you two need to get your act together.
Anyways, can we stop talking about the exams? Like it or not, they're gonna come back graded next week. Rather than focus on stuff that's over with.
What are you looking at?
The usual site. It's no use. There ain't any useful info. The number of posts are getting less and less too.
I am not letting this end as a one-hit wonder, okay?
There's no point in getting antsy, though. I know! Why don't we go eat lunch somewhere? We still have some money left over from the other day.
I want sushi then, or domestic-raised eel.
We don't have that much left. Oh, right! There are those tickets to Madarame's exhibit. Wait, that's tomorrow.
Don't tell me. Was it love at first sight with that Yusuke guy?
It's not like that.
Of course not.
When I was watching that special on TV, his artwork was pretty nice. Plus, we've got free tickets. Besides, this could also be related to what we heard in Mementos.
Madarame, was it?
I'm curious too.
That aside, what should I do about the other 2 tickets? Want to go appreciate some fine arts for once?
Fine arts, huh?
I suggest we should all go together. Appreciating the fine arts builds character. A phantom thief who can't identify an original is lame.
Well, if everyone's going...
It's settled then.
I'm looking forward to it.
Just the phrase going to an art exhibit sounds kind of mature. Let's meet at the exhibit entrance tomorrow.
Hopefully I get a chance to save the game here to chill out in my room a little bit. I picked both a good episode and yet a good part of the game and a bad part of the game to come back to. On one hand, it marks the kind of beginning of a new chapter in the game, so seems kind of perfect to return right now. But at the same time, there's so much plot happening that I'm not getting too many downtimes here. That sounds about right. Same guy. That's right, so I go back up. For those that have forgotten or just glanced over it, Nakanohara is the guy with the bowl cut, which we encountered inside of Mementos. And when we confronted his shadow, he blamed some of his problems on Madarame, and now we're debating whether or not this is the same one. If what we heard is true, Kitagawa-kun is studying under a corrupt teacher. Or Kitagawa. Nice to come back to Persona 5's controversial pronunciations. Okay, so I have a little bit of time here. No, not save. Gonna have to get back used to triangle being my menu. Good old Persona control. So let me open up Confidant. We will look at the man of the people. Yoshida, a former dietman who considers himself a failure. Helping him may improve your speaking skills. So, also it says, independent election candidate, he teaches you speech skills that are essential for politics. And at rank 2, we get diplomacy. So I go back to that screen. I will now read the wiki introduction to Japan's national diet. I can get the tab open on my phone. The National Diet, or Kokai, is Japan's bicameral legislature. It is composed of a lower house called the House of Representatives and an upper house called the House of Councilors. Both houses of the Diet are directly elected under parallel voting systems. In addition to passing laws, the Diet is formally responsible for selecting the Prime Minister. The Diet was first convened as the Imperial Diet in 1889 as a result of adopting the Meiji Constitution. The Diet took its current form in 1947 upon the adoption of the post-war Constitution and is considered by the Constitution to be the highest organ of state power. The National Diet Building is located in, I'm going to maybe butcher this pronunciation, Nagatacho, Chiyoda, Tokyo. So, it's the district and neighborhood. In other words, not that I can speak for too many other nations out there, but if you're an American like me, the Diet would be their Congress, and on the wiki page it even does the, shows a little diagram, the semicircle to like show you the, I guess, parties, and it does all like the little colored dots, like how here in the States they show the same diagram, but it's like red and blue dots for Republican and Democrats. They have a similar system. So that is what the Diet is, and what Yoshida used to be a part of before whatever controversy he found himself in. Okay.
I'll just add this.
Now I'll save. Been a while since I've done that. In terms of real life time, not in-game time. We'll head to bed. We have more days of cutscene action as we get introduced to Yusuke and Madarame as well. It seems that this Madarame is actually an amazing artist. That's his reputation anyway. Let's go to bed. A rainy day. And of course, I have a little bit more time to talk here. I'll have to participate in class a little bit in a second. But as you know, if you've been following me on Twitter or have watched some of the streams since I kind of got back online, that for about a month there I was pretty sick. So that was one of the reasons for my pausing with the Persona 5 production. But at the same time, it was a good opportunity to sort of unwind and digest this game a little bit more.
So crowded.
It'll be a pain in the ass if someone sees you, so don't stick your head out too much, alright?
You came.
Yeah.
You really came.
What'd you expect when you left us those tickets?
Make sure that you don't get in the way of the other visitors. Come now, I'll show you around. I'd like to speak more about the picture I'd like to draw too.
Well, see you guys later.
Will Lady Han be alright? What if he drags her behind some painting and tries something funny?
I told you not to come out! Are we really gonna appreciate the fine arts? Can't we just go home?
Yeah, let's learn about Madarame.
I guess we should do
Most
a quick
effective
pass through
thing.
once. Which way are we supposed to start? It's that old man from the other day.
We continue to be truly surprised by your imagination. You have such expansive styles. It's hard to believe that it all stems from one person. Where in the world does all your inspiration come from?
Well, it is rather difficult to put into words. They naturally well up from within my heart, like bubbles rising one after another in the spring.
Naturally, you say.
What's important is to distance oneself from worldly desires, such as money and fame. My atelier is a modest shack, but it is more than enough to pursue true beauty.
A shack?
I see. So the act of emptying one's mind gives rise to inner beauty. Still, to think we could hear the word shack coming from the great artist Madarame.
You would understand if you saw it.
Wasn't the word shack something?
Madarame-san is actually here?
Over there!
I'm so glad I came on opening day.
Hey, stop pushing! There's way too many people!
I'm getting crushed!
Anyways, we gotta head for the exit. Don't die on us, alright?
I didn't know there were so many types of Japanese art.
Usually, one concentrates on their own style. However, Sensei creates all this by himself. He's special.
There you are, Yusuke.
Sensei!
Ah, the girl from yesterday. Are you enjoying the exhibit?
I don't know how to put it into words, but it's really amazing.
You're sensing something from the artwork. That alone is enough to give us artist satisfaction. I hope this becomes a wonderful piece, Yusuke. Well then, if you'll excuse me.
You'd imagine artists would be difficult to approach, but he seems really friendly.
Indeed.
Oh,
The painting I wanted to see in person.
This one?
I guess it's the painter's anger? I'm not sure, but I sense this strong frustration from it. To think such a cheerful and gentlemanly person could make such a piece. Something wrong?
Don't mind me. There are better pieces than this one. Come now, this way.
Hey!
Ah, that old lady totally elbowed me. But thanks to that, I remember now.
About what?
Well, let me get to it. It's about a post online. Here, look at this.
Why'd you leave without me?
You got it all wrong. We got dragged into this huge crowd and... Anyways, you gotta look at this too. This post might be about Madarame.
What's it say?
A master of the Japanese arts is plagiarizing his pupil's work. Only his public face is shown on TV.
Plagiarizing?
I didn't think much of it when I first saw it, but hearing Shaq and Madarame triggered it. His treatment of the pupils who live with him is awful. He teaches nothing and bosses them around. He treats them inhumanely, as if disciplining a dog.
Abuse on top of plagiarism, huh?
If this is real, it'll be a huge scandal.
I wonder if Kitagawa-kun posted this. I mean, he is a pupil of his.
Who knows? It's anonymous and all.
In that case, it's possible the Madarame we heard about in Mementos is referring to the same one.
A man like that doing such a thing? I wonder if we can ask that shadow from earlier about this. Oh, actually, we just need to talk to him in reality.
And how are we gonna go about that? Are we gonna explain it all, starting with Mementos?
Besides, if we make a move out in the open, there's the possibility that Madarame will find out.
Oh, yeah, right.
Hey, what do you think about Madarame? Doesn't he seem suspicious?
He does.
I know, right? This all fits way too well to just be a coincidence. If this post is legit, ain't this the kind of target we've been waiting for?
Well, yeah, but is it really true?
By the way, what did you do about the whole modeling thing?
Kitagawa-kun gave me his contact info, and the address to his sensei's atelier.
He said he lives there, right? Perfect timing. Let's try going tomorrow. We're off to Madarame's house right after school.
Huh? You want me to model tomorrow? This is too sudden.
What? We're just gonna go talk to Kitagawa.
Oh, that's what you meant.
Okay.
We need to find out if that rumor about Madarame is true. I agree. Sounds like the kind of target we've been looking for.
Well then.
Yes, let's call it a day. Something that this game does very often is we will get into these day-long periods of exposition that will take away optional daytime and nighttime activities.
Oh, yes.
It's something that some players really don't like. It's wasn't really present in Personas 3 and 4, but it is in this game. It has its strengths and maybe a weakness or two. It's something I will expand upon much, much later in the game. Once we've maxed out all our confidants, we'll talk about how the way this game uses these time periods of just taking your days and nights and doing story-related things affects the game design of the schedule. Do you know who created the piece which sold for the highest price back in the 20th century? That would be Van Gogh, or Van Gogh as some people say.
Oh, not bad.
That piece was purchased for the equivalent of 18 billion yen, and it sold for even more later. However, since the turn of the 21st century, a new record has been set practically every year. That doesn't surprise me.
Nice going!
Not that I know too much about the art world.
All right.
I'm still oblivious.
Hey, hey!
I guess the thing you're supposed to take away is how profitable art can really be.
Come on.
So, well, what do you expect? It's not like we have a Phantom Thief mobile. We can bring pets.
No!
You? We didn't pay the fare.
Hey!
She heard it meowing. It's just a creature. It's just a creature. I like that one. Maybe that line made more sense in Japanese. Or maybe he said it in English.
Hey!
Press on its head. You may have seen clips of this already. This is one of the better moments in the game. At least in terms of funny things that they didn't even have to do, but they did it anyway. If you press gently, I think Morgana gets all like happy and starry-eyed and meows. I don't remember what forcefully does, but who cares? We're gonna button mash. Let's do it again. I love this scene. It's so blatantly clear that they did not have to do this scene whatsoever. It has no value in terms of the big picture of the game. It's not like we have a really important conversation and this is just a side thing. No, they could have just as easily transitioned from the school to this scene right here that's coming up.
Yeah.
But they wanted to have a little thing where you can play with Morgana. Alright. So the closest thing is this station. So we gotta walk to Madarame's place. Shut up, Ryuji. Supposedly it's a shack.
Okay, let's get going.
So yeah, we gotta cut through the rest of Shibuya to get there. No big deal. It's been a while since I've done this. Actually, physically walking around through Persona 5's environments.
Wait.
It's supposed to be in a residential area past Central Street. This is the way.
Suguru Kamoshida, former Olympian, teacher at Shujin Academy. Reason for turning himself in is a heavy conscience, huh? The human mind doesn't change that easily, let alone their natural temperament. Shujin Academy. Seems doubtful. Perhaps I'll have someone look into it, just in case.
Is that it?
We're at the right address. The door plate does say Madarame.
You ring the bell.
Me? The walls won't collapse when I do, will they?
No one sneeze or we'll blow this house down, okay?
Who is it? Sensei is currently...
It's Takamaki.
I'll be right out.
People really do live here.
Takamaki-san. You two are here as well?
Hey, sorry, but, we ain't here to talk about the modeling thing. There's something we gotta ask you. Is it true Madarame's plagiarizing stuff? He's abusing people too, yeah?
Are you serious?
We read about it online.
This? Preposterous! Not only is the plagiarism impossible, but abuse? If he hated children so much to harm them, he would never allow pupils into his home. And I'm the one residing here and studying under him. I'm saying it's not true, so it's beyond doubt.
You might be lying about it.
That is utter rubbish. I had no family when Sensei took me in and raised me into what you see now. If you continue to ridicule the man I owe my life to, you will rue this day!
You really think that?
Yusuke, what's the matter? I heard you yelling.
These people are slandering you with baseless rumors.
Forgive them, Yusuke. They must have heard some bad rumors and came in worry for their friend's safety.
Understood, Sensei.
Well, even I doubt that a cranky old man like myself could be liked by everyone.
That's not what we meant.
I'm sorry to have butt in on your conversation. However, I do have neighbors around. Won't you please keep it down? Now, if you'll excuse me.
That was discourteous of me. I'm sorry. I know. I think you'll be able to believe in Sensei if you saw that painting. It's his maiden work, as well as his most representative piece. It's titled Sayuri.
Sayuri?
This was the painting that inspired me to become an artist.
It's so beautiful.
I don't know all this fine art stuff, but even I can tell that this is impressive.
When I first saw you, I felt the same powerful emotion as when I saw this painting.
Me?
I wish to pursue beauty like this. And I believe drawing you will be part of that pursuit. I implore you, seriously consider my offer. I'm sorry that you took the time to come all this way, but I must assist Sensei today. I hope that we can discuss this further another time. If you'll excuse me then.
Those two seem like nice guys, don't they?
Maybe the Madarame we heard about in Mementos is a different person.
Man, right when we thought we found a new target, too.
How's the metanav?
Oh!
Hey, the app.
Was it picking up our conversation? This display. It means that Madarame has a palace too, right? But why?
Madarame, plagiarism, and then Shaq, huh? These seem to be the keywords.
For real though, what the hell's going on? Does an old man like him really have a palace?
We have the person's name and the location. All that's left is the what that Madarame mistakes the shack for to enter his palace.
You mean, like how Kamoshida thought the school was his castle?
That's right. Let's try saying some things. They can be random guesses.
It's a bit sudden though.
Why don't we start with castle?
No candidates found.
Then what about prison?
No candidates found.
Ah, what a pain! Jail, warehouse, and guidance counseling office. Might as well add farm.
No candidates found.
Not a single hit?
Should we come back another time?
A building that's related to artists. If we think from there, what would it be?
A museum. I don't know why this wasn't anyone else's first guess.
Beginning navigation? Whoa, really?
Hey, wait!
We did get it right. Well, I got it right.
Come on.
Hey,
That's an interesting little detail. In a place with minimal cognitive distortion, the differences can be subtle. Keep that in mind.
What?
That's a big museum.
hey!
So that's how he sees his shack. Granted, that doesn't seem too outlandish, but just having a palace is a sign of guilt enough.
So extravagant. To the point that it's gaudy. It's a museum, right?
This is Madarame's?
A palace is a scenery driven by desires. Just like how Kamoshida's palace was a castle.
Madarame's artwork is on display at museums in reality too, though. His exhibit was popular, and people already respect him. Why would he fantasize about a museum?
You got a point. It ain't related to plagiarism or abuse either.
Let's try looking around. Racking our brains here won't do us any good.
Right. That aside, ain't a museum a must for Phantom Thieves?
Definitely.
Now that's our Joker. I feel the same.
But man, just look at that insane crowd.
Yes!
Let's begin our infiltration. Of course, we're not going to wait in the line. We're not going through the front door. Let's find our way in. We're Phantom Thieves.
Yep.
Overwhelmingly shiny. Indeed, this is his palace. Like I said, just having a palace is a sign of guilt. At least in some form.
Focus.
Not everyone who has a palace is necessarily a bad person. Just means that you have some sort of distorted desire.
Focus.
Alright, let's sneak our way in.
Hey!
And of course, it was always intentional that every palace in the game is a location that a Phantom Thief would visit. So, like Ryuji said, a museum was a must. I could have sworn that long time ago, by long time ago I mean about 2 years ago, after a Persona 5 trailer debuted at Tokyo Gaming Show that year, after the game was confirmed to be released in 2016, which was after a long period of silence when people began to realize that there was no way this game was coming out in 2015, like they had once said. Not in Japan, anyway.
I have something.
After that trailer debuted, there was a short director's interview with Katsura Hashino. Alright, I have to check out this painting first. Let's look at this. A lot of these distorted paintings around. It's someone's name and age. Is it the artist's name? Let's check out the other paintings. Can you examine them? I believe so. You don't have to. Well, Morgana wants to go into the next room. Okay, you can't examine these. Anyway, as I was saying about that Hoshino interview that debuted at TGS 2015, I believe there was a small look at some beta footage of the game. Not direct screen footage. It was more like it was off-screen recording. As he was recording in the interview, there was some B-roll of the game being worked on in progress, and I believe some of it was, or what they showed was actually of this palace. And I believe it even showed a puzzle that actually didn't make the cut for the game. I don't know if I don't feel like editing in that footage, but if you look for that like Hoshino director interview 2015, you may see what I'm talking about.
Damn it.
That's the guy we saw in Mementos. Natsuhiko Nakanohara. And so he wasn't lying about knowing Madarame, at least. Actually, let's go a little back and actually take a little bit of a look at some of these paintings. Looks like some of them might actually be reused, but don't pay attention to that. Shh, don't worry about it. And you can also see that that bow tie there on that student is the Kosai uniform that school that Yusuke attends. We'll also meet one other student that goes to Kosai. There's the male version. It has an art division, so it would seem that Yusuke is not the first person that Madarame knows that went there. Now, of course, if you haven't pieced it together by now, these are pupils of Madarame's. And since these are all pupils, that can only mean that Yusuke himself appears inside of the palace.
Huh?
Hey.
Huh?
They're not exactly paintings. Yes, they are the pupils, but more than that, well, it makes sense that some of these pupils are no longer pupils. Like, I wouldn't expect a guy like Nakahara to still be there. He seems to be a little too old for that. Then again, not that there's necessarily an age restriction, but in the terms of those who were pupils around Yusuke's age, it makes sense that some of them have moved on. But the thing is that these aren't actually paintings. They're cognitions. I might be spoiling that a little bit, and that might be something that Morgana brings up in a conversation in a moment or two. But like I said, these are cognitions of people. And in, what's his name? Kamoshida's palace. It's been a minute. Kamoshida's palace, of course, had one very notable cognition, and that was, of course, An, as the little subservient bikini-wearing cat girl.
Talk about luck.
So that's how Kamoshida saw An. This is how Madarame sees his pupils, as works of art. Here's our map for the first half of the palace. Behind us is a chest. There's also a lock chest, obviously, on the other side of the room. I'm going to leave that alone for now. His lockpicks are, of course, limited. The backside of this, there's another little treasure you can take. But what the game would like you to do right now is check out this big piece in the middle here. Let's get a good look at it. The camera doesn't fight me. So, you kind of got this big gold thing with people in it. And it keeps going up. Let's see what the description has to say about this giant sculpture.
Ah. Look at this.
The Infinite Spring? A conglomerate work of art that the great director Madarame created with his own funds. These individuals must offer their ideas to the director for the rest of their lives. Those who cannot do so have no worth living? Hey, this is most likely about the plagiarism, right?
Damn it, what a phony geezer.
In other words, his pupils are his property. He doesn't even qualify as an artist if this is true. He's stealing the ideas from talented students in exchange for securing their livelihood. I wondered about those portraits on display. They must all be his pupils through his cognition. This even says that they have no worth. Couldn't this be about the abuse? Madarame will keep them around as long as they're useful to him. But the moment they're not...
He's treating them like slaves or tools!
Why is Yusuke keeping quiet about this? He's got no reason to cover this up.
He did say that he owes Madarame his life for being taken in.
But still...
When we were at the exhibit, I praised one of the pieces on display. But Kitagawa-kun acted strange. Maybe that piece was plagiarized too.
What's the call? Ain't this enough to target Madarame?
Absolutely.
That's what I'm talking about!
Hold on, you two. We should confirm these facts with Yusuke once more.
Confirm what, though?
It means we should get solid evidence that such crimes actually took place.
What a pain in the ass.
Besides, there's too much we don't know about Madarame yet.
You're right. I'll try contacting Kitagawa-kun. I might be able to get the truth out of him if I accept his modeling offer.
Wait, you're gonna do that?
You all better come with me, okay? I'm scared to go alone.
A famous, renowned artist, huh? Wow, this might be tougher than Kamoshida. Well, we'll just prep ourselves until we get confirmation from Yusuke. This is our first mission as real Phantom Thieves. We're gonna succeed no matter what.
I believe that does it for the palace for today anyway. Before we wrap up this episode, there's a little bit more I want to talk about. I said that Kamoshida, with his cognitions being paintings, that he views them as work of art, but that was actually a poor choice of words. I'll explain in a second. Basically referring to Yusuke and whether or not he overlooks Madarame's crimes because he owes him so much. Maybe I'm hesitant because I haven't actually met any of his victims. That's not true. I met Yusuke. If an evil person isn't causing any trouble, is there really a point in us stepping in? Basically, we need Yusuke to tell us what he's hiding. Let's find out how he feels. It won't be easy either. Anyway, as I was saying about the cognitions, poor choice of words to say that they're works of art. But you have to remember, how does Madarame view art? Well, as we get to know him a little bit better, Madarame's pretty greedy. That's not to say that he represents the sin of greed, because all the palaces and bosses have a sin associated with them. I believe his is sloth. But more so that art is a way for him to make money, and we're going to see how far he really goes with that. Therefore, for cognitions to be art in his palaces, it isn't a symbol of him being proud of them or their accomplishments and what he's made them into, more so that they're avenues of revenue for him to profit and make money off of, because he's taking in people that perhaps have nowhere else to go in life, making them his pupils, and then profiting on their work. Now, because we know that Yusuke has been taken in by Madarame, we know that that's pretty much a sign that Yusuke has no other family. Obviously, that means he wouldn't really have parents in his life. We'll kind of see how that relates. Anyway, that does it for this episode. In the next one, we will get back to, let's see, today's the 16th of May in the game. So we will be confronting Yusuke a little bit more, and then we will get back into the day-to-day activities that take place in the game. So I will see you next time.